That second play to Courtland Sutton, so they're running Tim Patrick down the middle of the football field on like a little through route. And it was a great look off because Bo is eyeballing that through, right? And just ever so slightly drawing the safety's feet that way, the body lean that way, the backers that way, to open up that window because he knows he wants to come back and hit that dig or that dagger to Courtland Sutton. And so you watch him and the timing of it, man. He just watches Timmy Pats go through the middle. He eyeballs him, 1,001. Boom, he just turns his shoulders ever so slightly, and it's just a absolute strike to Courtland. And it was it's how an offense is supposed to be executed by a quarterback who is established and can play. And, I mean, this is a veteran quarterback playing for the Denver Broncos that just happens to be a 24-year-old rookie. But the way he plays the game, he plays like a guy that's been in this offense for the last 3 seasons. And the anticipatory nature of that throw, he knew what was coming. Like, that's one of those where you're looking off and you know what's coming. You know it's looping, so you hit that hitch and the ball just comes out, and it comes out before the receiver's out of his break, and it is an absolute dime piece.
And that's the kind of throw that makes me feel really optimistic, because that's not just simply, well, it was going up against Green Bay's second and third stringers. That was the kind of throw that if you give your quarterback time and a clean pocket, and he's going to be able to make that throw against anybody. That play like that is, you can't defend it.
No, there is no. We say it all the time. Trent Dilfer used to say this all the time. There is no defense for the perfect throw. And you get time, and it's not like Mike. It's not like that play took inordinate amount of time. I don't know what his snap to throw time was, but it couldn't have been much more than 2 seconds.
Oh no, it was step, plant, boom, ball out.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be hard to get to your quarterback when it's that's the timing of the route. It was another thing of beauty, put them down in the red zone, and then they run that play, with Timmy Pats on the slide behind the line of scrimmage, just getting lost there. And they got a 3-level route combination all on that kind of sprint action type of, to the right hand side, and it was an incredibly well executed drive.
Yeah, so that was a big, like I said, that was a big second and long, got us a first down after the penalty. So that was a big explosive play, a good chunk play to get us in the red zone. And then we did a good job of just, finding Tim there in the end zone. Happy for him. Obviously, he's been through a lot. It's not easy to overcome the things that he has, and then to get out there and be able to contribute like he did tonight was just really cool to see. And he's a gamer. He does a really good job when his number's called, and it was good to see him in the end zone.
Yeah, I guess we can stop with the whole, is Tim Patrick going to make this football team talk, right? I would think that last night's performance solidifies his spot on the team, no?
Yes!
I would think so.
Especially on a night where, again, Marvin Mims was invisible.
Tim Patrick will do the dirty work for you. Tim Patrick will do, you ask Tim Patrick to block people, you ask Tim Patrick to run the play action, to run the over routes, to, be in the middle of the football field, take on a line, whatever. He has got no issue doing that. Timmy Pat's is a good football player, man. Yeah, he's going to make this team. No question about it. He looks healthy. He looks like he's got his quickness back. He looks I know he's got great hands and great attention to detail. Yeah, he's going to make this team.
6 receivers? Carry 6?
I would think.
All right, so let's say 6. Sutton, Mims, Reynolds, Timmy Pats, Devon Vele. That's 5.
Mm-hmm.
6th one comes down to Troy Franklin, Lil Jordan Humphrey, Brandon Johnson. Hey, look, just based on what we've seen, I'd much rather have Humphrey on this team over Franklin, but Franklin was a 4th-round pick.
Right.
I don't know. Is that the kind of guy, you think you can, sneak through waivers and
put on the
practice squad?
Maybe that's the direction you go. I think he does bring that just over the top, lift the top of coverage speed that maybe you don't have on that roster. And maybe that's not Vele, maybe that's not, maybe that's not Mims, maybe that's not, but it is that is something Franklin's known for. So maybe you just keep him because of that and the fact that he was a fourth rounder.
By the way, while we're talking about roster crunch, I like Samaje Perine. Part of me thinks that Sean just looks at him as like a whoopee, that he's a safety blanket, right? Security blanket, wants to have him on the team. But then I'm watching. I wonder if there was one play that made the coaches look at Perine now as being expendable. When Audric Estime stepped up and took on that pass rusher blitzer, stoned him.
Mm-hmm.
Stidham made a really good throw after that. But on that play right there, is that the kind of play where you're like, okay, we like Estime for all these other reasons, but he just showed that we can trust him in this situation, something that Perine is very good at and has always been very reliable at.
Right.
But Estime just showed he can do it, so that just right there makes Perine expendable.
Yeah, unless you just think that Perine is incredibly valuable. I mean, how much money are you paying Perine? You I don't think money really factors into this deal.
No.
So do you want him on your roster? Do you trust him in third downs more than you trust anybody else?
But are you going to carry 4 running backs?
Well,
You're already talking about maybe carrying 3 quarterbacks. I get it. I think sometimes NFL teams, coaches, general managers overthink things when they start talking about the 53-man roster and, every roster spot's important and we don't want to have too much redundancy at one position. But even all that said, does it make sense to carry 4 running backs?
I don't know. Either in the return game with the new kind of dynamic kickoff, are you going to have some running backs in your return, like from a blocking standpoint? And I just don't. I don't know how they're gonna keep the roster, but you got to keep great players. The other thing is all the young players. Maybe not Estime, but some of the other young guys in the running back room. I mean, come on. You don't think you can sneak those guys through waivers, get them on your practice squad? I think there's a lot of that's going to go on as well.
Yeah, we have to – I think sometimes we get so, caught up in our own we're so locked in on the Broncos that we forget that, 1,500 guys are going to get cut. And the notion that, everyone's just waiting to see if the Broncos are going to cut Audric Estime so we can scoop them up. I think that sometimes we fall into the trap here, and it happens in all NFL cities, where we just, we start to kind of overrate guys that are here and realize, you could probably cut an Audric Estime and be able to get him through waivers. Probably be able to do it with a Troy Franklin, get him through waivers.
When does the
put him on the practice?
When does the first cut happen?
It's one day. Remember, there used to be a couple of different cut-down days. Now it's one day.
One day, and everybody's gone?
Vroom.
Wow.
Suddenly, 1,500 guys get cut 8 days from now.
Okay, so it's after the next preseason game.
Correct.
All right.